Hi guys and welcome back. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. One of the questions I get asked on an almost daily basis, and actually probably multiple times a day on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, just everywhere really, is what are my favourite concealers? Concealers are always what I feel like a personal decision when you're makeup shopping, because they could be a concealer that you love but your best friend hates, or they could be something that you hate but everyone else seems to rave about. That is down to your skin type, how you like your makeup to look on your face, and what your overall goal is when putting it on. Now I know that seems a little bit complicated because we're just talking about a concealer here, but each of those decisions will affect which concealer that you want to wear. I am a firm believer in applying a BB cream or a very light foundation and then going for a super high strength concealer, so you only get coverage where you need it and the rest of your skin looks like skin. There are 5 concealers that I like, tried and tested numerous times, and those I want to talk to you about today. The first concealer I'm going to talk to you guys about today is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer in shade number 1 Fair. You may recognise this concealer having popped up in quite a lot of my videos. I like this concealer because it has great coverage. I don't tend to expect a lot from drugstore concealers. I haven't had acne and acne scarring and really dodgy skin for like the past year. I feel like there are so many opportunities that the drugstore is missing out on, especially here in the UK. There aren't that many great high coverage concealers out there, but this is one of them. It's very easy to blend. You can use your finger or you can use a beauty blender and it blends out perfectly into your foundation. The lasting power is quite good on the concealer and it does cover any redness that I do have. My negatives on this concealer is the shade range is incredibly limited, so if you've got super light skin or super dark skin, then chances are you may struggle to find one with this range. The Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer I would use on breakout areas and also in the under eye area. Do swatch it in store and do check it in 3 different types of lighting before you buy it. Concealer number 2 is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. Now this concealer is a lot more expensive than the Collection concealer. I believe this one retails for around £22 or so, which makes it fairly pricey considering that the Collection one is only £4. What I love about the NARS concealer is that the lightest concealer is actually fairly light and you can get a really nice highlight out of it. I personally use this concealer under my eyes and in the centre of my face for where I want to add brightness and bring those areas forward. Sometimes it does have a tendency to crease slightly under the eyes. As long as you set it properly, be it with a powder or using a beauty blender and a set-in spray, you shouldn't have any issues with it. The NARS concealer does have a fairly full coverage. Now you can build that up or take that back down. If you'd like to sheer out your NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, then maybe try using a very damp beauty blender just to feather that out into your foundation. Or alternatively, just apply a small amount and blend it out very well using a concealer brush or using your foundation brush. My real negative on this one is the price. If you had said to me around two years ago that I would be spending £22 on a concealer, I would have laughed and said, no way in hell would I spend that much on a concealer. Having tried it and tested and seen what's out there on the market, this is one of my favourite ones. Third concealer on my list is one of my latest purchases, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury The Retoucher. This one is a pen concealer. Now I'm not usually a fan of these concealers because they're quite sheer and I have a lot of problem areas and I expect my concealer to, you know, conceal redness and to give me that flawless look that I'm after. This concealer I wouldn't recommend for breakout areas, but what I would recommend it for is again in the under eye area. Now this concealer is quite sheer and it does have a beautiful dewy look to it, so if that is what you like and you don't want anything that's too heavy, then this one could well be the concealer for you. It's not a cheap concealer. but it does the job and it does have that beautiful dewy look and that natural kind of skin finish. If you don't have any problem areas, then chances are that this concealer could just do all of your face for you, but I wouldn't use this one on breakout. I again would just use it on my under eye area. The next concealer on my list is the Dermacolor Quintet palette. This isn't actually one concealer, it's 5 concealers in one. The Dermacolor Quintet is quite a new purchase for me. I picked this up from Charles Fox a couple of weeks ago. I have to say that it is amazing. If flawless skin is what you're looking for, then this concealer palette is just the one. This is like the holy grail of concealers. Possibly the most pigmented concealer or foundation or skin coverage that I have ever seen. The reason that Dermacolor covers breakouts or blemishes so well is because it's not a concealer. Dermacolor is a camouflage cream, and what that means is that it's used by makeup artists all around the world as a way to cover tattoos, as a way to cover birthmarks or any kind of facial disfigurement. Dermacolor is kind of like the go-to product for that. One of the cons is the fact that it's an oil-based product. If you are avoiding oil-based products, then this one likely isn't the one for you. However, because it is an oil-based product, it is incredibly long-lasting on the skin. Dermacolor, you may think, is super expensive, but it's so cheap, and that's what surprised me the most about it. And you can even buy individual pans. They're about £4 here in the UK, which makes it so affordable and even cheaper than a lot of drugstore products out there. If you know where your closest Kryolan store is or pro makeup artist store, then it is definitely worth checking it out and trying the Dermacolor range, because they literally have changed my life. And I know that you're probably thinking, oh, she's getting paid to talk about this, but honestly, I'm not. I'm not a makeup artist, I'm a normal girl, and I just had a bad skin, and I have tried so many products, but this one works like no other. I wouldn't recommend a product to you I didn't believe in it, or if it hasn't worked for me. So the final concealer I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer. Now, I have this concealer in a shade NC15, and I will say that this one, depending on what time of year it is, it's not always the right shade for my skin. A lot of the times it can be working perfectly depending on where I apply it, and then other times it's a little bit too orange for me. All depends on placement, technique, and what foundation I'm using underneath. So if you don't want to go for something like the Dermacolor Camouflage Cream, or you want something that's a little bit easier to get hold of, or you just know your colour in MAC and only want to go MAC, then this one could well be the one for you. Because it's a high strength concealer, it pairs really well with a light foundation such as a tinted moisturiser or a BB cream, or something that's just a little bit more sheer. I do like this concealer, I just wish it came slightly paler, because sometimes it's just not the right colour for me, and then other times it is. Try it before you buy it to make sure if it's the right one for you. Those are my 5 top concealers at the moment. Now, unfortunately, only one of them is drugstore, and I know that you guys love it when I use drugstore products. However, I haven't found the perfect concealer on the drugstore high street market just yet. And as soon as I find one, you know that I will switch to it in a heartbeat. I'd love to hear from you guys what products you'd like me to do in my next top 5, and please do let me know in the comments section below. If you'd like me to collab with someone and bring 2 lots of top 5s to the table, then again, let me know in the comments who would you like me to collab with, and maybe we can make that happen. Maybe. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, because it really helps my channel out. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!